to hook up a camera to it and do some of this kind of stuff. And I bet the average game developer isn't going to try to do that because that's not really what they do. Then they showed this demo called the duck in the bathtub, which is a duck and it floats on water and it kind of is a real physics simulation, and it just blew everyone away. And he brought up somebody in the audience to try it. And then he drains the bathtub and the duck spirals down to the drain. Everyone's like, and right then I'm like, oh, submit my resume. So I submitted my resume to the R&D group, and kind of the takeaway I have from it, I liked my job where I was, but I saw like a dream job possibility, so I took it. And I think that's a good thing to do whenever you get that chance. So Sony Computer Entertainment R&D, our mission really is to catalyze new ideas in the entertainment industry, which means we try to come up with new things and kind of move the bar higher for the game industry. And we don't really have very much responsibility as far as making games themselves. We just want to give new technology to the game developers that they can use. So we're located in Foster City. When I started, it was about 10 people. Now it's 30 people. And our areas now are graphical rendering, distributed computing, development tools, and then special projects, which I'll talk about more later. So I was supposed to mention also we have opening possibly for a graphical rendering summer intern in the area of shaders and kind of advanced rendering techniques. So if anyone's interested, yeah, maybe more than one. So when I got hired, it was with the specific idea of using video input into a PlayStation 2. They were kind of intrigued by that when I interviewed. I hadn't really thought of doing that either, the research group. And kind of our goals and the motivation for doing it at the time was to make a more natural interface for the PlayStation 2. Also kind of to make a more interactive experience, virtual natural interface for the PlayStation 2. Also kind of to make a more interactive experience. Virtual reality has always been a big buzzword, and those kind of things generate lots of neat ideas. And then finally, we wanted to be able to do some kind of the movie special effects. We wanted to bring those into the home. That was a big topic, is when PlayStation 2 was launched, everyone was saying Toy Story in your home. Well, it might not be quite that level, but that was kind of a thought process. So why not other movie effects in your home too, some of the more interactive ones? And so I won't take credit at all for the idea of using a camera and a computer or anything together. Lots of people have done stuff related to this. Some of the more famous work, there's products from Reality Fusion, and ePlanet was a company formed about 5 years ago to do this kind of work. A lot of SIGGRAPH exhibits have done it. A lot of museum interactive installations have done things like this. The HIT Lab, the MIT Media Lab, they do a lot of this kind of work. And Konami is now starting to do a lot of it in their arcades. So there's a lot of this work going on. So I don't want to take credit for the initial idea. So the video input research, when we tried to map it out, the kind of things we wanted to work on, the first two we really focused on was video as input, where we just want to replace the joystick with a camera. You don't really use the video, you don't see the video, but you use it as an input device. And then the second one, we call it enhanced reality. It's like augmented reality, where you see the video and you mix graphics with it to get kind of a mixed effect of graphics and video. So those are the two areas we focused on initially. Then later we started working on gestural interfaces and consumer motion capture, and I'll talk about those at the end of the talk. So for video as input, the user doesn't really see the video ever. I'm going to give a brief summary of these and then go back through some more chronology and give some more demos. But since you don't see the video yourself, different things matter. What the PlayStation cares about and what a person would care about could be different things. So if we're going to do color tracking, for example, we don't need the luminance information, perhaps. So we can transmit only the color over the USB and get a higher quality color image and no luminance information. Yeah, it's USB 1.1. So we're constrained by the bus a lot. Also, things that really do matter are the frame rate and the latency. You want really people are used to the joystick being really responsive, and we need the same kind of feeling. And if you don't show the video to the person, what we learn very quickly is the person's lost, and they really need great feedback of what they're doing to understand anything, because they don't understand what they should be doing with their body or anything. So if you decide not to show video, then you really need to give some obvious feedback to the person. And so the other area, enhanced reality, is where you do see the video. Oh, sorry.
You said the user does not see the video, but certainly the examples you've shown have shown the video mixed in.
Right.
In fact, is it always necessary for the user to see the video, or is that not?
No, we have some demos I'll show that you don't see the video. And now we've also reached kind of a sweet spot where you kind of see the video. But enhanced reality, like I said, you do see the video. That makes it easier because the user knows where he is and he knows his reference place. However, a lot of times, augmented reality kind of things, they make you wear something, or they use specialized hardware, or you need a calibration process to kind of calibrate the video with other instruments. We can't use any of that for a kind of a entertainment application. We just want a fun thing to do where it's real easy, but we still want the movie special kind of a entertainment application. We just want a fun thing to do where it's real easy, but we still want the movie special effects. So it's challenging, but it's possible to do some things. And so one of the big things we want to do is composite video and graphics together. And there's some neat things you can do just by having a known sphere. Like, as you can see right here, if I hold this up, you can kind of get what the lighting is in the room from looking at the sphere. You can see the highlights, the lights kind of from above, and you can estimate the lights. And then you can render the graphics with those estimated lights so it looks kind of right for that room. You can render things only into the Z buffer, so you can kind of make things that will block out other things. So I'll show a demonstration of that later where we render to the Z buffer. And you can also, when you mix the graphics and the video, you can feather with the alpha channel to kind of composite it so it looks more matted in. These can be expensive, but there's sometimes cheap ways to do them. So to go back to the chronology a little bit and get back into the EyeToy story itself, what I did for the first few months when I joined IRD is to just learn the PlayStation 2 programming environment. So I created a mock-up of a camera into the PlayStation 2. We didn't have any drivers or anything like that for it yet. So I had to use a PC with a webcam off the shelf, and I sent the video over the network, and then we had a network connection to it. So I had this big, setup to get video in, but it worked. And I have a demo of kind of thing we did right away. If I can find it here. So one of the very first demos, if we switch to the video here, is I call it a filters demo. So we just run all these kind of special effects. So this is like an embossing effect. This is a color quantization effect. This is a kind of a black light filter, and it leaves like different things for different amounts of time. I'll bring some more color in here so you can see.
It's video Photoshop?
Yeah, I can't say that word, but yeah. and this is just a Gaussian blur. This is kind of a measure of how powerful the PlayStation 2 is. We can run 10 9x9 Gaussian filters over the image at 30 frames per second in software. So just using one of the processors of the three. So that's a pretty powerful thing to do. That many, you wouldn't really want to do 10 9x9 Gaussian convolutions. This is like an edge filter. This is another kind of an edge filter that some people might know here. And this is background subtraction. So if I take a picture of the background without me in it, then I step in. This is the subtraction of that. And with that, you can do some kind of effects like a kind of a virtual green screen. It's kind of dark in here, so I'm getting a lot of noise in the background. And then we can do target tracking using that. So you see, you get target tracking. Uh-oh. 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 All right. Anyway, that's all. That's all I wanted to show in that demo anyway. So that's what the first thing I did is get all those things working, and then really exercise the PlayStation 2 hardware. Some of the very first demos we made, that one. We also made one called Video Spheres, where we just had 4 movie streams being textured onto polygons all over the scene. We had like 1,000 polygons, all with movies playing on them. And it's just crazy that you can even do that at the time. There's no real reason to do that, but it was neat, And then we took a video and put it on a mesh, and we could move the mesh around and warp it and have ripples go through it and stuff like that.